Have you ever struggled to keep a conversation flowing? Do you want to get rid of those awkward silences? Do you wish you had the ability to talk to anyone at any time and make a good impression? Well, keep listening as we delve into the psychology and practical tips of how to talk to anyone. Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr Aziz. I'm a psychology graduate of Cambridge University and also a medical doctor. In this video, we'll be covering the key points in Leil Lowndes' best-selling book, How to Talk to Anyone. This is a psychology-backed book that offers guidance on effective communication. Lowndes covers a wide range of communication types, broken down into verbal and non-verbal across almost every possible context. Use your smile and your eyes at first impressions. 80% of first impressions is the way you look and move. In fact, studies suggest that emotional reactions occur in our brains before we even have time to register a reaction to somebody. So try to utilize Leil Lowndes' tips to intrigue everyone through your first impressions. Lowndes advises against quick smiles. If you interact with somebody, you should start by looking at their face for a second and pausing. This pause will let you soak in their persona. You should then let out a big warm smile that floods across your face. Allow this flood to overflow into smiling with your eyes. While engaging with the flooding smile, you should also try to maintain eye contact. Others will respect you more if you maintain strong eye contact. Specifically, this ability is associated with intelligence and abstract thinking. Lowndes' second technique builds on the importance of maintaining eye contact. She describes how you should adopt sticky eyes. This means you should not break eye contact even after they have finished speaking. Once you have decided to break eye contact, you should do so slowly and reluctantly. Lowndes believes that approach will send a message to others to comprehend their conversation and respect them as an individual. When you are seeking romance, you should utilize what Lowndes describes as epoxy eyes. If you are romantically interested in someone, maintain deep eye contact with them, even when they are not the person talking. If they are interested in you, keeping eye contact while they are a listener can be an effective aphrodisiac technique. Try not to worry too much about what you are saying, but attempt to match the mood of the audience. The easiest, broader approach to take is simply to ensure your words put people at ease. Doing this will make you sound passionate. As long as your words are putting the audience at ease, you can focus more on the tone of what you are saying. Remember, 80% of your communication has nothing to do with the choice of your words, but rather other factors. When introducing people, you should always offer an exciting point for the conversation to flow from. You will become more appealing in others' minds if you learn how to keep the spotlight shining on them. How to start a conversation. Lowndes suggests always wearing or carrying something slightly unusual. Possessing these objects will immediately draw other people's attention towards you. Try to make small talk by commenting on other people's attire. Asking people you know to make introductions with other people can immediately provide an icebreaker. Eavesdropping in group context is not rude, it shows curiosity. So don't be scared to eavesdrop another conversation that say something like, "Excuse me, I couldn't help but overhear." If somebody asks where you are from, you should always avoid giving them a one-word answer. Use this as an opportunity to describe interesting parts of your life. You should always avoid one-word answers when somebody asks what you do for work. Embellish your answer with fascinating facts about your role, company, or job history. Conversation on jobs. Lowndes believes you should never be asking the question, "What do you do?" You should be asking others how they spend most of their time instead. If you are asked, "What do you do?" you should try to avoid using the same stories about your personal life across conversation. Build up a bank of true stories that roll off your tongue. How to make others feel special. A common mistake is immediately agreeing with the other person. Instead of jumping in with "me too," you should wait and listen. So the other person will be influenced more if you wait to agree. Wherever possible, start sentences with the word "you." Starting conversations with this word will immediately grab your listener's attention. If you are meeting a group of people, you should greet each person with a distinct smile rather than smiling at a group. Never ever make a joke at anyone else's expense. You may get some cheap laughs in the short term, but you will pay for this joke in the long term. Whenever someone persists in questioning you on welcome subjects, simply repeat your original response. Use precisely the same words in precisely the same tone of voice. Hearing it again usually quiets them down. How to sound like you understand their passions. Lowndes describes gobbledygook as a language of other professions. Learn a minimal amount of information about a wide range of topics so you can sound like an insider. Every industry has burning concerns that specialists will comment on. Read up on these hot topics in the common industries. How to turn individuals into collective. There are 4 levels to move from strangers to make them think we. Number 1, cliches. Strangers will generally throw cliches at each other to make small talk. Number 2, facts. People who are acquaintances rather than friends will often bring up interesting facts to make conversations. Number 3, feelings and personal questions. When people become friends, they start offering their feelings regarding all topics, even those that are boring. Number 4, we statements. Using we prematurely will push your relationship closer. When you meet a stranger you'd like to make less of a stranger, search for some special moment you shared during your first encounter. The author calls this instant history. How to make them feel like you are similar. Try to copy the movement styles of people you are engaged with. Echoing is a simple and powerful linguistic technique that can make you feel like family. Hearing their words come out of your mouth creates subliminal personal rapport. Lowndes believes you can create a sensation of intimacy with someone even moments after having met them. The most effective way of doing this is skipping conversations levels 1 and 2 and going straight into the more intimate conversations. If you want to make a stranger less of a stranger, try to identify a remarkable moment that you shared during your first encounter. How to bring good vibes. Offer people praise when they are not even within a conversation. If they find out you have been complimenting behind their back, this means a lot more than flattery to someone's face. Become someone who carries good news. So if someone compliments another person, you should try to be the person who lets the complimented person know. You should also try to become a stealthy praiser. Do not make all your compliments obvious. Instead, put them in the middle of sentences. These type of praise are often perceived as more genuine. Let compliments boomerang straight to the giver. You do not necessarily have to give a big compliment, but you can say something like, "That is very kind of you." Whenever someone shines a little sunshine on your life in the form of compliment or concerned question, reflect it back on the shiner. You take people's breath away when you feed their deepest self-image to them in a compliment. How to sound great on the phone. To sound exciting on the phone, you have to replace your usual gestures with sounds. Your smiles, nods and hand movements have to be articulated through your voice. Think of yourself as a star of a radio drama. People perk up when they hear their own name. Use it more often on the phone than you would in person to keep their attention. How to perform well at a party. It is impossible to be fully engaged in a conversation if you are eating at the same time. Similarly, your audience will pay less attention to you if you distract them by eating. Survey the situation at gatherings so you can better understand how to create positive conversations. Make every social interaction a rehearsal for the moment that you meet people who could potentially change your life. Make every impression count. If there is one maxim you should imprint in your mind, is this: leave a good impression with everyone that you meet. Anyway, if you enjoyed this summary, be sure to check out some of the other animated summaries we've done: How to Win Friends and Influence People and the Charisma Myth, which I'll link here. I hope you learned something useful and enjoyed this summary. If you want to keep learning about psychology, medicine or life hacks, hit the like, subscribe and notifications button. Any suggestions or comments, feel free to post below. Until next time, stay safe.